I hate this shit. You have to unmute yourself.
You love it. Perfect timing. Welcome back. Effects. And welcome back, Inside Fighting, to another weekly episode of Insider Betting with your boy, Cody Talks IF, or Cody Gushlack, Adam Fishkin. This is where we go over the upcoming UFC card, where we give you guys our best picks, our best predictions for whatever UFC card is coming up. This week, we got Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales, UFC 106 Fight Night in Vegas, the small cage. I think there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of opportunities for some big wars. I think a lot of the favorites, like the spreads on this card, are wider than what the fights may actually turn out to be. So I'm excited to break down some of these fights. On the main card, the prelims, kind of mid in my opinion. I'm not going to lie. There's lots of fights, but there's like 2 or 3 chick fights. Not much going on there. So if you want to jump in right to the first card fight on the main card, Julian Erosa, Malik Costa, both of these fighters coming off of 3-fight win streaks. What do you think about this one, Adam? Are you excited for this card? We're back with another UFC card, baby. Back-to-back weeks. I'm pumped.
Yes, sir. Love to be back-to-back. Yeah, prelims kind of suck. I mean, there's like 3 chick fights, and the highest ranked of them is like the opener, and that's when you know they're not setting them up for success. Probably the most exciting fight on the prelims though is Thiago Moises versus Jared Gordon there. Thiago's been back and forth. He's 3 in his last 5, but he's been losing to people he's supposed to lose to. Like I saw he's got a loss there against Islam Makhachev. He's got a loss against Benoit Saint-Denis. His most recent loss was against Ludovic Klein. But he's been beating most of the guys he's supposed to beat. I think he's probably going to take Jared Gordon's head off. Probably going to go for the knockout. I know we were talking about that a little bit. But Jared Gordon just hasn't been anyone good recently. He's been losing to people he's supposed to beat and just not winning overall. So
he hasn't had a win since 2023. So Thiago Moises would be a hard guy to shut out in my opinion.
Yeah, like his last fight was against Nasrat Haqparast in 2024, where he lost by decision, and then his last one's against Mark Matson, TKO, win 2023. You're right. Yeah, just tough. Like I'm always going to go with the guy that's more active and has more recent wins, especially at their age. You know, like Jared Gordon's 36, Thiago Moises. I know exactly. Thiago Moises is only 30.
Yeah.
So he's younger. Yeah, I got Thiago Moises. I think
he's definitely hungry.
But it's weird that it's even, and I think Jared Gordon's the favorite.
Yeah, he's a slight edge on the Vegas numbers, which I don't understand, to be honest, because he is the older guy. He does a bunch of mental health programs right now. That's like his main focus outside of fighting is like mental health research and stuff like that. So it's just like if you're a fighter, you kind of lost that hunger. You're getting to the older ages of your career. You're going into the mental health stuff. Is that fight instinct still in you? That kill or be killed instinct still in you? I'm not too sure if he has that. I think he's going to be coming into this one for a check. It's unfortunate, but if I was to bet this one, probably going to take the underdog Thiago Moises.
Yeah, I like that. Should be the most exciting fight in the prelim, I'd say. Except for that, there's that one Korean kid who's like 9-0.
Yeah. I also think
like an early knockout.
Yeah, I think he might have a showing out. Small cage, kind of like a Dana White Contender Series vibe. Impress Dana White with a knockout, and you'll get a good opportunity next time you fight in the UFC. So I think that Hong Park guy, 9-0 on the prelims. I'm excited to see him too. I haven't seen him fight before, so this is his like coming out party to me.
Yeah, no, I like that. Open up the main card though. Let's pull up our graphics.
Yes, sir.
Show the people what we got. Oh, they're out of here now. Oh, 1 second.
No.
Sorry, guys. Some technical. I think it's this one. There we go.
Beauty.
We're not starting there. We're starting over here.
I like these guys.
Julian Erosa taking on Mel Costa. Yeah, I think Mel doesn't look like this anymore, does he?
No,
he's got regular hair now.
I don't know. He kind of switches it up every fight, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like a Sean O'Malley.
Yeah. So yeah, we've seen both of these guys fight pretty recently. Julian Erosa beat Darren Elkins by a first round KO just over a month ago at UFC 314. Mel Costa is also coming off of a win against Christian Rodriguez, where he beat him via decision at the end of March. But both of these guys are on a 3-fight win streak. Mel Costa is 4 in his last 5. Julian Erosa is 3 in his last 5. Both of these guys beating Christian Rodriguez recently as well. When I look at this fight, I think that you have like a technical guy versus a guy who just like fucking goes out there, and just on heavy pressure and just kind of gets messy. Mel Costa is the technical guy. Julian Erosa is a bit more of aggressive guy. He's going to keep up the pressure. In these types of fights, I usually like picking the technical guy as long as he can withstand the pressure. And I think Mel Costa can. I think he's going to get his 4th win in a row. I just think he picks his shots better. His takedown defense is like a little bit of a concern. It's a little bit on the lower end at 54%, but I got Mel Costa. And Rogue is back, baby. Let's go.
Man, I'm looking at this one. I kind of agree with what you're saying there. I like the younger fighter. I like Costa. He's been on his streak. Julian Erosa, he's also on a streak too. He's looking good, but I don't think he's as technical as Costa, as you were saying. I think he's more sound defensively. They both are really high threat with their jiu-jitsu game. They're both really high submission threats. Both of them have submission wins in their past 3 or 4 wins here. So they're both looking good when it gets to the ground. But I do favor Malik Costa in those exchanges. I think this fight could look a lot like Malik Costa versus Christian Rodriguez, where Rodriguez was pressuring him up to the cage, but Costa was still somehow able to like lock up more submission attempts than Christian Rodriguez was. Although Christian Rodriguez was the one applying the pressure throughout 15 minutes and land the takedowns and do everything with the pressure, but Costa was able to use that against him, use his momentum against him, and lock up more submission attempts, winning him that fight. I think it's going to be a similar situation here. If he can't get that submission finish, maybe he could do some ground and pound against Erosa. But I think Erosa is going to be the one pressuring Costa to the cage, trying to get the takedown attempts. I think Costa will reverse those takedown attempts, land in a better position, try and go for more submission attempts, either landing him a close decision or getting him the submission win. So I do want to take Malik Costa here by finish, and I do want to parlay him with a Ruzi Boa finish as well. So this is kind of like, if I'm betting, which I am betting this one, I think I'm going to pick Costa and Ruzi Boa by finish. I think Costa gets it done here by submission in the first 2 rounds, boys. I don't think it's going to be a sweat. I think he's going to use Erosa's momentum against him and just be too cheeky with his submissions, throw too many up. One's going to get locked in. That's going to be a good night for Julian Erosa in this one. 35 years old. I think he's going to start fading here. Although he's on a streak, I think he might start a little fade. The competition's getting too high class for Erosa here, I think.
Yeah. I like what Rogue said here. He said Erosa is live. And I agree with that. I think like in these types of fights, like when you have like, although Mel Costa is more technical, and I think he's the better fighter overall. Sometimes when you have just like an absolute dog that's coming at you, they just get like a sneaky one in there, And I think that's what Erosa is going to be trying to kind of gun for, But yeah, I think we're both on the same page with Mel Costa here.
Maybe Erosa could box with him, but I do think Costa has better Muay Thai. I think his kicks are a little sharper and stronger. So, I mean, if Julian Erosa is pressuring him, I don't think it's going to be like outstriking him by a lot. I think it's going to be pressure to get him up against the cage, to look for a takedown, to look for a submission. And that's where I think Costa's shown against his performance with Christian Rodriguez that he could use that against you, that forward momentum against you, that pressure against you. And I think he's going to be able to reverse some of these positions, land in a better position, and just constantly look for that finish, look for that submission. I think he's going to find it. Look what he did to Andre Philly, locking up a guillotine in the first round. Nobody saw that coming. I think it's going to be similar here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Next fight, we got Dustin Stoltzfus taking on Nursultan Ruziboev. We've covered Ruziboev before. We've also covered Dustin before. These graphics are very not life size, you know. Nursultan is a much bigger guy than Dustin, even though Dustin looks way bigger in these graphics. You got a 5-inch height advantage and only a 1-inch reach advantage, which I think is kind of key here. This is the only fight that we're breaking down today that like I can't make up my mind on. Because I think Nursultan's like the obvious pick. He should get the win. But there's just something about Dustin where like on paper, when you look at his stats, he just seems to be better all around, you know? And I think like a lot of that can get a little sneaky there. Nursultan hasn't had to use his like grappling game too much in the UFC, but he is a submission threat. He's got 20 submissions in his 34 wins. So he's a lot more well-rounded than he's had to show in the UFC. But there's just something about Dustin, which I think just his style of fighting could make it a little bit more difficult for Ruziboev. But I don't know. I like, it's like my brain says Nursultan Ruziboev is a clear pick, but at the same time, like Dustin's got a lot of dog in him. I don't think Nursultan's putting him away. Like, I don't think he's getting knocked out necessarily. And because I don't think Dustin's getting knocked out, it's why I have such a struggle to pick against him, because I think if it's going to decision, he could sneak a win, you know, but a bit of a 50-50 fight on my end. I can't really pick this one.
Well, maybe I could help. I love Ruziboev. I'm maybe his number one fan after what his performance was in Seattle. I've been a fan of him since. Just like I got to stay at the Fighter Hotel in UFC Seattle when I stayed there, and this was a fighter that I ran into more than once, and I was just overly confident after seeing him that he was going to land a knockout in his fight without even seeing his opponent. I was like, this guy's going to get a knockout, just extremely locked in. And I'm sure that he's extremely locked into the gym, into his training every single day. This guy is making improvements into his game where I don't know if Dustin Stoltzfus is improving his game day in, day out in the gym, working as hard as somebody like Nursultan Ruziboev. So I'm locking in Ruziboev. I do think he gets the finish here. If we're doing MMA math, Dustin lost to Bruno Ferreira. And Ruziboev knocked Bruno Ferreira out. The only reason I think this fight could be real exciting is because Ruziboev hasn't fought like a big-sized middleweight. The last big-sized middleweight he fought was Joaquin Buckley, and he lost that fight. So when he's facing these bigger middleweights, he can't implement the amount of pressure that he does when he's fighting a guy's a little smaller than him in the division. But he is a little smaller than Ruziboev. He's 5 inches smaller, in fact. So I think he will implement his normal game plan of forward pressure, looking for the KO. And I think he dominates here, bro. I really do. I'm locking him in as my second lock in my parlay. Ruziboev by finish. I love it. Lock it in. Feel good about it.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. You just like are very confident he's going to get the knockout. And I'm like, I don't know if Dustin's getting knocked out. That's my only thing. Because I think if there's a knockout in this fight, it's Nursultan and he wins. You know, if this fight goes a little longer, we're going to see a Joaquin Buckley type of fight where he loses by decision.
So that's what I'm hearing is if this fight goes longer, people are scared that Ruziboev won't be able to keep up his game plan. But his last fight, he wasn't able to find the finish until late into the second round. He was getting booed the whole first round because he was patient. I think he stays patient in this one. He doesn't have to rush the first round knockout. A lot of fans want to see that happen. But when you're a UFC fighter, you don't want to force that. So I think he is patient. I think he gets a second, third round knockout here. I don't think it comes in the first round. I'm kind of on the opposite of what the public are saying about this one. I think he takes his time with this one and really picks them apart and just dominates.
Yeah. No, we'll see what happens. I like that. Rogue agrees with you as well.
Let's go, Rogue.
In the comments or in the chat. But yeah, I don't know. Tough one. I agree. I don't think it's like I think it's gonna be a first or second round knockout. I'd be shocked to see a third round knockout. I think if it's going to the third round, it's going to decision. I think Dustin's gonna do enough to not get knocked out. But he's still got to win some rounds to get the win, you know. But in the way Nursultan fights, where he's a little bit more filled out in the beginning, he could win that first round easy, Dustin, right?
Yeah.
Like if he's taking it a bit more patient.
I think how we see Ruzi Boev fighting this fight in the first round is how he comes out if this fight goes into the third round. I think he continues this. I don't see Dustin putting on the pressure in the third round. I think he's going to be running even more than he was in the first 2 rounds. So I think a late knockout, in my mind, just makes sense.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Feature fight of the night, we got Sadiq Youssef taking on Myron Santos. We both saw Myron Santos in UFC 313 in Vegas, and he 100% lost that fight. I remember I was sitting there. I was on the floor where the fighters now walked out from, but like went backstage to.
Yeah.
And in the 100s, when I was on the floor, I saw what's his name, Francis Marshall. I saw his entire family celebrating, bro. Yeah. And everyone, like as soon as that last bell went, they were all celebrating as if Francis Marshall got the win. And I've never seen someone's expression change that fast, bro. They went from like being the happiest because they thought he locked in the win to being so sad that he got the loss. And I don't remember seeing them the rest of the night.
Man, watching the fighter storm off after a loss, like the way he exited the ring in the arena was just like jaw dropping. Like I couldn't imagine something being taken from me that I just worked so hard, the hardest I've ever worked in my life for, just being ripped from me like that. But when you do look at, I just took a quick peek at the significant strikes. He was outstroking. Yeah, he was outstroking, and you know, you're relying on those takedowns and the control times in the later rounds to win you a round, and it doesn't happen. It's unfortunate, but we see it now and then. And that was unfortunate for him, but
I'm pretty sure live it looked like he lost all 3 rounds, like even with the strikes.
Yeah. It didn't look like he won that fight. And then but he does get a step up in competition now with Sadiq Youssef. So
big step up. And it favors him, both strikers. You know, like that's where he struggled against Francis. Is like clearly his takedown defense and just his grappling and wrestling game isn't there at all. I don't remember seeing too much submission threat from Francis. I remember them just like kind of laying on the ground a lot.
Yeah.
But no, definitely a favorable matchup for Myron Santos. He's 2-0 in the UFC. He beat Francis Marshall, he beat Ken Offley. And then he's going up against Sadiq Youssef, who's 6-3 in the UFC. He's coming off of 2 losses, Diego Lopez and Edson Barbosa. When you look at Sadiq Youssef's career in the UFC, he's beaten everyone he's supposed to beat, and his 3 losses in the UFC have been to Diego Lopez and Edson Barbosa, like I just mentioned, and Arnold Allen. Like you can't be upset with any of those losses, you know? It means he's not championship material. It means that he might not even be like top 10 material, but he's still like potentially a top 15 fighter.
Yeah.
You know, who can crack gigs and maybe improve.
For sure.
I think it's easy to say that like Myron Santos should be the favorite here, and that he should get the win, but he really hasn't fought any top level competition. But at the same time, Sadiq hasn't beaten any top level competition. So it's not like he's proven himself to be much better than Myron, you know, even though he's fought some bigger guys. He just has experience.
Yeah.
Tough to say, but I think that Myron got very lucky in his second fight in the UFC. He lost a fight on the ground, which makes me very confident that he's going to win this fight on his feet. I think that sometimes you see a little bit of bad juju in the MMA world when somebody gets like a sneaky decision win, they end up getting a sneaky decision loss next.
Yes.
But I don't think that'll happen here, but I do think it's going to come back and bite Myron Santos a little bit later in his UFC career when he's like on a 3, 4, 5 fight win streak. He's going to lose a sneaky decision to someone. But I do have him winning this fight. He's 24. He's really good. I think he's going to get the win.
I think a possible sneaky decision for Sadiq Youssef here. I've always been kind of I love Sadiq Youssef's game. I think he is a really talented striker, a good fighter. What trips me out about this fight is it's at lightweight. Both of these guys are featherweights. I'm not sure why or how it went up to lightweight. Maybe someone's struggling with their weight. Maybe this is like their coming out party debuting at lightweight, and maybe they're both just want to fight at lightweight now because Sadiq's been knocked out by like the Diego Lopez and these guys with bigger strength. So maybe the weight cut's just getting to him a bit and he wants to go up and maybe he'll be less chinny at this weight. So I think Sadiq Youssef won't get knocked out here. I think he'll be stronger. I think he's going to really mash up Santos's face. This one could be fight of the night potential in my eyes. Both these guys, I don't see this fight going to the ground.
Yeah.
Although if Sadiq did implement some of that, I think it could benefit him if he mixed in some grappling and some wrestling, win him a round or two. That could win him the fight, right? So I think this is going to be a close decision win for Sadiq Youssef. Underdog makes me even like it even more.
Yeah.
I
don't hate that pick.
Everyone pressuring this fight because of the small reach advantage for Santos, because Santos is favorited. I think he's going to be the one more on his back foot. Sadiq is going to apply the pressure. I think he's just going to score more, control time, score more strikes. I think he's going to close this one out. Just edge it just by a little bit.
I think Rogue summed it up pretty well here as well in the chat. Santos hits hard, but I actually don't think he's that great. His wrestling is super sketchy, and Sadiq Youssef's striking has to be a million times better than Francis Marshall. I agree. I think Sadiq can win this fight on the feet. Like, I think Myron Santos hits hard. He's a good striker, but Sadiq is also a striker. He can also hit hard. So I think you can give him competition, but you're right. Like, this being up a weight class definitely favors Sadiq Youssef more than it does Myron Santos.
Yeah, and I mean, he's fought dogs. Arnold Allen, Edson Barbosa, Diego Lopez, and I mean, Marlon Santos's last win was Francis Marshall. So, like, different.
Yeah, the experience is everything.
Sadiq Youssef, he's going to be bigger, badder, meaner. I think this is a small cage, so there's less running from Santos. I think he's going to get to him. I think he's going to touch him up, and I think he wins this one. Yeah. Underdog pick. First underdog pick, I think, of the card for me. So
I like that. No, I still got Myron, though. Yeah, I think the 2-fight losing streak is tough on the mental. And Sadiq feels like one of those guys that it affects him a little bit. So we'll see how it plays out.
For sure.
Co-main event, Rodolfo Bellato versus Paul Craig. This is stylistically, they say styles make fights, and I think stylistically this fight's pretty interesting. Rodolfo Bellato, he's a very powerful striker, but he can grapple a little bit as well. He's got 7 knockout wins in his 12 fights, but he still averages over a takedown a fight and has 100% takedown defense. So he is good on the ground as well. Paul Craig, on the other hand, isn't a striker by any means, but he does a pretty good job of avoiding to get hit while trying to get it to the ground as well. Paul Craig's coming off of his 3rd loss in a row, this time to Bo Nickel. Before that, he lost to Kai Baralho, Brendan Allen. But he's been like performing really bad. Like, he's only got 1 win in his last 6 fights. Rodolfo Bellato, on the other hand, he was on a bit of a win streak, and he just came off of a draw with Jimmy Crute. So that was interesting. But yeah, I think that Bellato being a 5-1 favorite is pretty insane. He's obviously clear in the striking battle. My concern is that when you have a guy like this who's good on who's kind of well-rounded, he's gonna be striking a lot. And I think he's gonna, like, for him to win, he needs to keep this a striking fight. But if he tries to mix in a takedown because he's not landing his shots and he's like, okay, I'm going to try to take him down, get some control time, maybe get some ground and pound, I think that's going to put him in a lot of danger. And I think Paul Craig's going to outperform him on the ground. And I don't think he's going to realize like that he doesn't, I don't know if he's going to realize that there's levels to this shit,
For sure.
Like, yes, for the average light heavyweight, you're a better grappler than them. You can out wrestle them. You can be on the ground with them, but not with Paul Craig.
No, well said.
Yeah. So that's my concern, is piecing him up on the feet. All of a sudden goes for a takedown. Now the fight's on the ground. You're in Paul Craig's house. Paul Craig sneaks in a sneaky submission, Picking the fight to win, I'm picking Rodolfo Bellato because I think he's 5-1 favorite for a reason. But I'm not putting any money on Rodolfo. I'm actually putting money on Paul Craig.
Makes sense. I mean, the number is there.
Yeah, and I think I think the chance for a sneaky submission is much higher than the 4-1 odds indicate here.
Yeah, if you're Bellato, you don't want to play into Paul Craig's strengths. I mean, that is grappling. We all know that. Look at Bo Nickal' fight against Paul Craig. Everyone booed him because he wouldn't go for the takedown. Why is the D1 wrestler not going for a takedown against this guy in the UFC who's pretty much coming into the bum stages of his career? He's not good on striking. He's not good anywhere. We know he's good at this jiu-jitsu. That's the only thing Paul Craig is good at. So obviously there's always going to be the Paul Craig submission bettors. That's always going to be a stand here at Underdog. I'm pretty sure him to get like a submission win here is probably above plus 600, plus 700. So probably good numbers on that. So those bettors are always going to be there because it's always a threat when Paul Craig is in the UFC octagon. His jiu-jitsu is that good. Will Bellato make a mistake? He is the fighter who would make a mistake. You know, that's why I'm not betting on him. I don't think he should be this big of a favorite. He could make the mistake of going to the ground, like you said, with Paul Craig and losing this fight. But if he's smart, he will stand. He will keep it at range. Paul Craig can't. He's looping his shots. He's not going to be of any threat to Bellato on the feet. So Bellato keeps this standing for 3 rounds. He gets the win here. Can he get an early knockout? Will he apply the pressure? I'm not too sure. I'm not going to bet this one. If I was betting, I'd probably toss Paul Craig into a parlay with the underdog. He always comes out with the mask, his face painted, with the energy. He's fought in all these guys. He's lost to all these guys. But look, he's beaten Jamal Hill. He's beaten Nikrita Karailov, some of these guys, you know. So he has the potential to win here, guys. Don't put this Bellato guy in your parlay. He could be a parlay buster. There's no value in that.
None.
So don't play into his strengths. You win this fight. I'd also pick Rodolfo Bellato as my official pick for this one. But if I'm betting, I'm probably going to toss up on Paul Craig just for the funsies.
Just for the funsies. Yeah, I think like give Bo Nickal all the shit you want to give him, especially after his last loss against RDR. But like when it comes to like fighter IQs, Bo Nickal's like top 3, top 5. You know, like he knows, he understands the game, even if he's not able to deliver at times. But like for a guy like Bo Nickal, whose wrestling game is so strong, to still have the discipline to stand up for 3 rounds with Paul Craig and get the win, you don't see a lot of UFC fighters do that. So again, if Bellato doesn't get that first round KO and then starts mixing it up, I think he's going to be in trouble, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think you're right with the IQ play on Bo Nickal. He is still one of the smartest guys. I was upset to see him clinching with RDR and trying to go for the grappling with RDR just because I know how good on the ground RDR is, but I didn't know how good Muay Thai RDR had in his bag as well with those knees and those kicks. So that does kind of like take some points off of Bo Nickal's IQ for me. I didn't know about his RDR's Muay Thai, but he should have because he was the one fighting him. So he should have known about RDR's Muay Thai. So IQ points are -10 for Bo Nickal on that, but still one of the guys who's sharp. You're a D1 athlete at the top of your game. You're a sharp individual. So Bo Nickal's definitely still got the IQ.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one, bro. Because what that fight got stopped in the 2nd round, right? But you don't know. Didn't realize Bo Nickal doesn't have cardio. He was tired at the end of round 1. Yeah, he was. But you don't know how that fight would have ended. You know, like he got knocked out by like a liver shot. So like he still had 2 rounds to try and pop a win there. We have no clue how that would have gone. But RDR did look better. You're right. Just that whole night.
Yeah. Paul Craig. Is it possible that he looks better than Bellato? I'm not too sure. He's going to have to take it to the ground.
Yeah, I agree. Gilbert Burns, Michael Morales. We had Jermaine B in the chat going Gilbert Burns. But yeah, it's going to be a tough fight for Gilbert to win here. Gilbert Burns taking on Michael Morales for the main event. Burns is on a 3-fight losing streak. He's got 2 wins in his last 5. But to be fair, his 3 losses are like super impressive. He lost to Bilal Muhammad, former champ. Let's go. Jack lost to JDM, new champ. let's go.
Yeah.
And then lost to Sean Brady, who is arguably next up for the title after Islam, right? After his win against who did he just beat? Just beat someone. I know he's next up. Anyway, Michael Morales, on the other hand, he's 5-0 in the UFC. He's 17-0 overall. His last wins against Neil Magny. He hasn't really fought anyone crazy in the UFC. He's got wins against Magny, Jake Matthews, Trevin Giles, Max Griffin, Adam Fugit. He hasn't fought anyone crazy. And we know Neil Magny's kind of been that gatekeeper who lets fighters get their bigger opportunities. And that's kind of what's happening here. Burns he's tough, man. He's well-rounded. He's tough to put away. But we just saw it happen against JDM. I think that the trouble for Morales here is we haven't seen him in a 5-round fight here yet. So that could pose an issue. But I think at the end of the day, Burns is 38 years old. So I don't think it favors him to go the full 5 rounds either. Unfortunately, I do think we'll see a knockout here. He'll be dropped out of the top 10. I don't know what's next for Burns after this fight. He's not going to be this is his last fight to be like a title contender potentially, and I don't think he's there. I think Michael Morales jumps in the top 10. I think Gilbert Burns drops out of the top 10. Burns probably won't retire if he loses. I think he'll have one or two more money fights against just other older fun opponents that we'll want to see. But I think Michael Morales is going to get a pretty easy victory here by knockout.
It would definitely be a bad move if he retires being a main card headliner, because there's definitely opportunity for him to still be on the top of cards in his future. He's got the name. He's got the brother Herbert. I mean, people love him, right? No, I'm just kidding. But I love this fight. I think it's a great matchup. I think we're counting out Gilbert Burns for no reason here. He's had really good wars against Hamza Chimaev where he looked good. He looks really good in striking against guys. He looks really good in wrestling against guys using his jiu-jitsu. But he doesn't really show that he has the durability throughout his whole career. Some of these guys put him away. Dan Hooker put him away. So there's things that there's question marks for Gilbert Burns with the age, the durability. Does he still have it? Right. To whereas Michael Morales, he's answering all these question marks. He's getting these wins after win after win. I'm going to lean towards Michael Morales as well, the younger guy, but I don't think the line's right here. I might bet some money on Gilbert
minus
Burns.
850 is crazy.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
The reason the odds are so good for Bellato versus Paul Craig is because Paul Craig is only good at one area of his game. He's only good at jiu-jitsu. So he's fucked if it stays on the feet. Gilbert Burns is not fucked if this fight stays on the feet. He is not fucked if it goes to the ground. I don't understand the disrespect that he's getting from the bookmakers. So I might toss 100 on him to win 600 or 700. Why not? But Michael Morales is just sharp, man. He is sharp. Just the small cage. Can Gilbert Burns pressure him? It's possible, but can he eat those shots? I'm not too sure. I think Michael Morales is a good pick to win by KO. If it goes to the ground, maybe Gilbert Burns could hurt him. Maybe he could get some ground and pound in and get a doctor stoppage. Whoa, Morales isn't responding well to this. But that could also happen to Gilbert Burns very easily. I mean, Michael Morales could rock him in the middle of the cage, hurt him, drop him, and the doctor could stop it right there. So it's a hard fight to kind of break down. I mean, if you just take away the odds away from this fight and you just showed me these two fighters, it's hard, man. I think they're going to put in a brawl. I think this could go for a little while. Two picks that I like on this fight, though, bias aside, Michael Morales KO under 4.5 rounds at plus 150, I believe, or minus 150.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like it. This is very not. Obviously, these guys are both much higher level than the two fighters I'm about to say here, but it kind of gives same kind of breakdown as Julian Erosa and Mel Costa. You just have one guy who's super technical, and then the other guy who's just a fucking dog. you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
And yeah, again, I think the technical guy wins. Like that's all it comes down to, like guy lands more shots, gets hit less. He's got great takedown defense at 92%. He can still take you down. He's averaging over a takedown a fight, so he's still pretty well rounded.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think at 25 years old to be doing what he's doing is nuts too. Like he's still
Nuts.
super young.
Nuts, bro.
So this will be a big learning fight for him. I think we'll see it be one of those fights where he struggles, but he'll prove himself at the end of the day. And I think it's going to raise his stock a lot more without lowering Burns' stock too much.
Yeah.
Because I think he's still going to put up a great fight like he did against Hamzat, like he did against JDM.
Me too.
He'll still look good.
Yeah. And like we're looking at 38 as like, oh, this guy's ancient, but he's 38 and Brazilian dude's about to have another kid in his family. Like he's honestly, I swear, like 38 Brazilian is prime, dude. Like Gilbert Burns, he's gonna have all his family there, all his teammates, all his friends and stuff in the Apex. It's a small, intimate arena. There's some things that benefit him here. He's going to have the heart in this fight, I believe, even though the younger fighter usually has more heart. I think Gilbert Burns has the heart. I don't know. I just have to pick Michael Morales here. It's just, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because I want to put so much money on Gilbert, but it's like everything is just Michael
he's
Morales.
gonna have a good, like his team's gonna be in his corner as well. Like I'm sure Moicano is gonna come out and stuff like that and support the boys. Small arena that benefits Burns because he might have better grappling. I agree.
He fought Tom Brady in the small cage in the fight Apex. Like that's a hard competition, probably harder than Michael Morales. So like if he put up a good fight against Tom Brady in the Apex, I think he puts on a good performance here. But Morales, he's dangerous, bro.
No, I think it's going to be a good performance. Yeah, but it's dangerous. And 38 Brazilian, last 38 Brazilian we saw was Jose Aldo, and he looked fucking 47, bro. So
that's fair. Let's not see Gilbert Burns looking at the clock or anything during this one.
No, but Gilbert Burns give fucking like Yoel Romero vibes, Like those guys just don't age, it feels like. Like Gilbert Burns has looked like this since he was 20. Yeah,
facts.
Yeah. But
he's such a good all-around mixed martial artist though. Like there's some fighters who like Leon Edwards, who I think should go into like the boxing division or whatever Dana White's doing with Turkey with
TKO.
And doing the boxing route if you're not going to get to the championship in the UFC. So like if Gilbert Burns doesn't do well here, does he move into like boxing or something else? I'm not too sure. But he's just so good all around with his jiu-jitsu and everything that I think he should be in the top 10 of the UFC. It's just now the competition in his division is so stacked. Like welterweight is such a stacked division and everyone's so hungry for the belt that I don't know. He's just destined to fall off the rankings here if he loses here.
Yeah, and you know what? Gilbert Burns would look sick at dirty boxing.
He would. I'm telling you, bro. He would.
That would be the right place to go for him. Because a lot of these guys, like Leon Edwards, you brought up, like it would be such a yes, they're good boxers in the UFC, but like your stance is different. The way you move is different. Like it doesn't really translate to regular boxing like that. Yeah. So he'd probably get smoked in regular boxing, but dirty boxing is fun.
Gilbert Burns looked so good against like Tyron Woodley and the Hamzats and these people. It's just like, how am I not picking him here? It's just...
I know. Young 25-year-old fucking buck, bro. That's why.
Yeah. Can't go against him. And I just watched the media day before this, bro. He looks fucking good. No homo or anything, but he looks like he's right where he should be. And 25 years old. JDM just won the title at 29. Could we see a younger welterweight champ, like 25, 20? Yeah. He could be champ.
Morales gives those like Payne Talbot vibes, hey?
Yeah, a little bit, low key. No homo, no Diddy.
No Diddy, but low key.
Or no Frank Ocean. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, he looks damn good, Rogue. That's right.
Pause, bro. Shit. But he looks good though. Like he got his hair all dyed and shit. Like he looks ready for this opportunity. Bro. He knows the lights are going to be shining on him. He knows everybody is going to be there for Gilbert Burns. He knows that he can make a name for himself, beating somebody with a name like Gilbert Burns. He's one of the UFC's babies. Like everybody loves Gilbert Burns. Everyone loves the Burns family in the UFC. You're kidding yourself if you say you don't. Always putting himself in the fight to win the fight, but I just think that will be his downfall in this one. He's going to get hit. It's going to hurt him. His chin's not there. The durability won't last. He gets put away under 4 rounds. I think it's happening.
Yeah, I agree. Anyways, I think that wraps up this week's episode. Next week, we got shit fights, guys. Like
dog shit. Like,
real bad fights.
I agree.
I'm very sorry about. We got Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber.
Wait, say that again? No way they're fighting.
That's the main event, bro.
Holy, I can't wait. Gonna have to get my popcorn.
Yeah, book it off. No. Yeah, pretty sure main event. But Aaron Blanchfield got to meet her whole family when I was in Edmonton. Super weird. I met her mom, her mom's friend. I don't know, some auntie.
I didn't know that.
Had great combos.
That's so cool.
So let's go, Aaron. Probably gonna pick her just because of that. But no, other than that, we got Dustin Jacoby on that card. Should be decent. Zachary Reese. Couple bangers there. I think could see a few knockouts. Mateus Gamrot taking on Ludovic Klein. Could be a decent fight. So there could be some decent ones, mainly sleepers. Might be entertaining, but not worth covering. But we will be here. 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't already and you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on Instagram, please give us a follow. No matter where you're watching, leave a like. Send a message in the chat. Be like Rogue. Fucking join us week in, week out. Give us your picks. We always shout you out. If you haven't already, follow Cody Talks IF. He goes live every single Saturday to cover, to do like a watch party, watching the fights with y'all. I kind of fucked his last one. I was calling him, or I was texting him when he was watching the Valentina Shevchenko fight.
Don't worry, bro.
Cody wasn't too happy with me in the moment, but it's okay. Shit happens, you know? You didn't miss much.
Cool on these lives, bro. When I'm losing money and there's nothing that I lose myself a little bit. But I do want to start doing giveaways on Cody Talks IF as well. I might start getting myself into card trading. UFC card trading, which might be an expensive hobby, but I'm looking into it for you guys. It might be entertaining to open up packs.
Show us the collectible, the gold John Jones, bro. Show us that.
Yeah, gold John Jones right here for the one time. Shout out Millions for hooking up the collabs.
Yes, sir. PMI Toys, let's go.
Yep, gonna be a millionaire off this toy.
That's sick, dude. That's
so. I want to add my UFC collectibles for sure. I want to keep stacking the UFC collectibles and build out a pretty sick collection.
Bring that back so you can see it now.
Okay,
yeah. Let's see that gold. Yeah, show me. Oh shit, that's Holloway.
Yeah, John Jones.
Let's go. We're getting the collectibles up. Anyways,
dope. Just something to do on the streams as well, because I know it's kind of boring just watching somebody watch a TV for 5 hours. So having something to open up and interact with the chat with is pretty fun. So I'm going to look into getting some trading cards as well. And if we pull something crazy, maybe a giveaway as well. So stay tuned for that. Go follow Cody Talks IF if you want to be involved in those streams and those giveaways. We're growing the page, man. Almost at 100 followers. Let's fucking go.
Yes, sir.
Shevchenko got it done. Cody made a good bet on that one. I had her also. Yes, sir. We had really good picks last week. Let's fucking go. We're going to nail it. We're going to come back this week. Anyways, take care, guys. Great stream.
Peace, guys.